Hello all, I'm Sai and in today's video, I'm bringing to you 10 easy to read short non-fiction books for non-fiction November. If you don't know what non-fiction November is, it's basically this thing that goes on YouTube and in the book internet community as a whole, in which we read just non-fiction or more of non-fiction, especially during November compared to other months throughout the year. Some people just read non-fiction alone throughout the month, and some others like me like to read a bit more of non-fiction in November compared to the other months. So if you want to participate in non-fiction November but you don't have that much time in hand in order to read a lot of books, I have 10 perfect short non-fiction reads for you here. All of these are just between 100 and 250 pages long, and a few of them are even less than 100 pages long. And I can easily say that you can read each and every one of these books in one day easily. I know everyone is busy with all the work that we have, but try and read at least 2 or 3 of these books in the 30 days of November and sure that they will make your life better. So without any further ado, let's get into the books right away. The first one is a book that was very close to me because I read this during the beginning of the year, and it resonated with me a lot during that time because I had started practicing a few spiritual things in the beginning of the year, and I've been continuing to do so like 10 months into the year now, and it just feels so happy for me. If you're asking me if my life has gotten better or not, I cannot actually answer that, but I can easily say that I'm a much happier person now compared to how I was back in the beginning of the year. And this book related with me during that time, and it is Meditation and Its Methods by Swami Vivekananda, in which the author talks about meditation in its core essence and the different types of meditation that are out there. Predominantly, he talks about Raja Yoga in this one, and I'm personally not a person who has that much connection with Raja Yoga in any way, but I do practice meditation each and every day, and I've been doing it for the past 3 years. It has definitely helped me make myself happier to a great extent. And if you're someone who is suffering with anxiety or nervousness in any way, just go forward and try doing meditation for just 5 to 10 minutes each and every day. In the beginning, you'll either feel sleepy or you'll get irritated, but just put up with that resistance that your body and mind are given and try to practice continuously. I'm definitely sure that it will make your life much better. More than anything, I can easily say that reading this book was itself a meditative experience for me. The language of this one is a bit difficult, but you can definitely read it slowly and imbibe everything that the author says. It's just 135 pages long, and trust me, it is definitely worth the time you'll invest reading in it. The next one is one thing which I listened to as an audiobook just a couple months back, and it is The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. And this book basically talks about perseverance, which is one quality that I respect a lot in anyone. All of us work hard, but it is difficult to keep working hard. And there are only certain people and certain books who talk about the power of perseverance and how much necessary it is to have as a quality in you if you want to make your life better. Anyone can work hard for just a day or two, but keeping the consistency on without burning yourself out is definitely something which we can develop only with practice. And in this book, the author basically talks about that with the concept of just trying to do the same thing one more time each and every day so that it easily becomes a part of our life. And the author also talks about how his father used this exact method in order to recover himself from alcohol addiction. And there's this certain thing that the author says inside the book which just touched my heart, and it is that his father told him that he's not promising him that he'll never drink again in his life, but he'll try to not drink for just one more day until he's alive. Just think the magnitude of power that ability to try just one more time has. I'm sure if you're a person who persists through stuff, you can understand the power of this book. If not, just go for and give it a try. It'll definitely make you want to persevere while taking care of yourself. Now, keeping the self-help books aside, if you're a person who's very intellectual or if you like to study about stuff rather than just learning them, then you should definitely try this book. And especially if you're a person who's a huge fan of the book Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, trust me, you need to read this book. It is super short and it will give you the same kind of feels that Sapiens gives, and it is The Infinite Desire for Growth by Daniel Cohen. I read this book during non-fiction November last year, and trust me, it was very, very interesting to read. It has the exact same kind of tone that Sapiens has, but it just doesn't go that deep into anything. Everything in this book is just on a surface level, so if you're someone who's intimidated with the amount of content certain books can have like Sapiens does, this is definitely something which is for you. It is very light in its tone. It doesn't make you bury yourself in a hole where you're reading about all these stuff. At the same time, it also delivers a lot of information to you without tiring you out. Again, it's quite a short book, just under 200 pages, so definitely go and give it a try. Next, we have an Indian self-help book, and this is definitely one book which helped me gain a lot more confidence on my body, and it is Don't Lose Out, Work Out by Rujuta Diwekar, in which the author basically talks about how you can keep your body healthy Even if you're a bit overweight, as people might say, the author clearly shows us that body weight does not have anything to do with how healthy you are. I've not heard such a great and proper approach towards being healthy than this author has written anywhere. But especially if you're Indian, you need to try this book. The author also uses a lot of slang from Hindi. I did not understand most of them, but as a whole, this was just a fun book. At the same time, it helped me a lot to understand my own body better, and I can easily say that it has become much easier for me to go forward and do some kind of physical exercise in a consistent way without tiring myself out. At the same time, eat healthy whole food without having unnecessary sugar cravings in between throughout the day. So definitely a great book. You need to try this one. The next one is another self-help book, but trust me, if you read this book, you'll laugh out loud. It'll make you think a lot, and it'll also give you a lot of solutions. And the best part about the book is that it's under 100 pages long. And the first book, technically the prequel for this one, is a huge bestseller, but I'm not going to recommend that book here. And the book that I'm actually going to recommend is Out of the Maze by Dr. Spencer Johnson, which is technically the sequel to Who Moved My Cheese by the same author. That book basically talks about change and how you can deal with it. And this book talks about what is holding you back from doing the things which actually make you happier in life, and how to understand those things that hold you back, dissolve them properly without facing a lot of resistance from your end as well as the other, and move on to live a very happier, more comfortable and pleasurable life for you rather than anyone else. I said all these things, right? But the book doesn't read like that at all. It's basically just a single story. And once you read that story, you'll be able to get a lot of insights just from your brain itself. It'll start making tangents to the story, and you'll be able to relate this story with your own life story and understand what is holding you back. As I said before, a book that is just under 100 pages long, you can see how thin it is, right? So don't waste time. After finishing this video, go forward and try this book. It'll definitely change your thought patterns. The next one is yet another powerhouse of motivation that I listened to as an audiobook like 3 to 4 months back, and I so badly want to have a physical copy of this book, and it is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest, in which the author basically talks about self-sabotage and what are all the things that you're doing in your own life in order to just bring yourself down. It is always easier for us to blame others, to give us reasons for all the things that we are going on, facing as problems in our life, but it is very difficult to go forward and accept that there are certain things that are happening in our lives whose sole reason is just us and our choices. This book basically talks about how you can develop that tendency and ability to accept your own mistakes so that you don't end up making the same mistakes again and end up sabotaging your own success. It is super motivational. At the same time, it also gives a lot of tough love at instances. I'm sure all of us need tough love because we tend to slack off when things start looking better in our lives. At times, it feels like the author is actually making you sit down and scolding you. But trust me, the effect that this book will have on you will just make you want to go and move a mountain. The next one is a book which I read 2 months back, and trust me, it's also a powerhouse of positivity, and it'll make you understand, believe and realize that your life is in your hands and you can have anything that you want, and you can do all those things by following just 7 easy yet a bit difficult to follow steps. And the book is Manifest by Roxy Nafosi. I have a dedicated review for this book with subtitles, and if I have videos for any of the other books that I'm talking about in this video, all of them will be linked in the description. You can go and check them out if you're interested. And in this book, the author talks about the concept of manifestation and how it is not just based on visualization alone. She talks about the 7 steps that you can easily follow in a practical way to manifest and bring into existence anything that you want in life. It is not just all there out in the universe. It starts with you, and what all you need to do in order to make life happen for you in the way that you want it to happen is the actual essence of this book. Again, the book is super positive. It will make you feel related at multiple instances because the author draws in experiences from her own life, and she also talks about her addiction story at instances, which I think will be relatable to some people in a very positive way and make them feel empowered towards their own lives. So it's definitely a great book that I read this year, and I think many more people need to give it a try. The next one is a book that I finished just a couple of days back when I filmed this video, okay? And I basically wait forward and try this book because it was recommended by Ali Abdal in one of his shorts. And the book is It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work by Jason Fried and another author whose name I'm not able to pronounce, but I'll drop the name in the video so that you can have a look at it. Now, this book basically talks about this company where the rules are very relaxed and how they are actually managing their company in a proper way and reaping profits each and every year despite being run for over 20 years consistently. And the basic thing which actually drives this company is that it doesn't have to be crazy at work, okay? You need to rest at times in order to achieve what you want. And there's no need to be excellent in everything that you have to do. You can just do good things, put good stuff out into the world and just be happy with it. You need not compete with anyone at all, especially if you're a person who's on your path to becoming an entrepreneur, or if you're someone who manages people at work. You need to try this book. I can understand that it is not possible for people just at management to inculcate all these things into work life. But if there are people who are in higher rankings inside the hierarchy when it comes to huge workforces, this book has the potential to change the lives of so many people just by bringing certain quirks to the system. It is very easy to read and is very conversational in its tone. I listened to the audiobook, which was just over 3 hours long. Again, another book which I want to get a physical copy of. Just go forward and read it. Next, I want to recommend you a memoir, and this is easily the most painful memoir that I've read so far, and I read it last year. It is When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi, in which the author has talked about the last few months of his life, and the author actually wrote this book during the final few days of his life when he was affected by cancer and when he was under treatment. The best part about this book is that the author himself is a doctor, and while he was battling cancer, he also helped a lot of people recover in their own lives. The preface and the afterword of this book are written by different people, of which one is his wife. But trust me, the best part about this book is all that is between the preface and the afterword, because it has been written by this author. And just while reading that itself, you can easily understand that this person must not have died because the world deserves him. We deserve to read a lot more things that has been written by him, because you can just take the book and, pat it on your eyes. It just feels that good because the writing of the author is just like pearls spilling out of a pen. Having said that, it is also super sad in its tone, knowing what is going to happen to the author, and when the book ends, it will definitely make your heart feel heavy, because it did mine, and I've heard the same thing being said by so many other people also. So give this a read, but do keep in mind that it will be very heavy to handle. And at last, I want to recommend one bookish non-fiction book to all the book lovers out there who persisted and watched the video until the end, and the book is The Clothing of Books by Jhumpa Lahiri. I read this book also only the beginning of this year, and trust me, within the few months from which I've read this book, I have recommended it so many times in the channel. If you're someone who watches my videos regularly, you know how much I love this book and how many times I've talked about it in the past few months itself. In this book, the author basically talks about book covers and all the things that go inside publishing when it comes to deciding and publishing a book with a particular type of cover. At the same time, she also talks about how translated versions of the book have different covers based on the geography in which they are going to be published in. And it's not like an author can know all the languages in which the book is going to be translated despite it being their work. And how the cover is basically just the first interpretation of the book that can be seen by the world. It is very poetic in its tone, and the best part again is that it's just 65 pages long, guys. Okay. Just within those 65 pages, just see how many tabs I've put inside the book. It is literally tiny, and you can finish reading it in just 1 hour max. But trust me, you will just want to go to another world along with this book because it is that gorgeously written. And that's exactly the reason why I saved it to the last. It is quite expensive for its price, but trust me, it is definitely worth it. So yes guys, those are all the 10 short non-fiction books that I want to recommend to you for reading during the non-fiction November. I hope all these recommendations were useful for you and you will end up picking some of these books at least. If you have read any of these books, please do let me know down in the comments your opinions on them. And if you have any other such recommendations, also drop them in the comments so that I as well as the others can get even more recommendations. And if you did find this video useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. And if you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.